Hello, welcome to the very first episode of the Kidmin Podcast. My name is Kenny Conley. I'm here with my friend and ministry partner, Nick Blevins, and we're kicking this thing off. I can't believe it. We've been literally have been talking about this for how many years? Like 3 years, 4 years? Hey, you should do a
working
podcast.
on it for a children's ministry podcast. That alone we've been talking about with you for a long time, but the Kidmin podcast specifically in the works for a little over a year.
We literally recorded some sample episodes a year ago that we just just waiting for the right moment to launch this thing. So, hey, if you're tuning in, we're so excited to have you here. This is our first inaugural episode of the Kidmin Podcast, and there's a lot of reasons why we're excited about this. First of all, the launch of Kidmin.com, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. You know, Kidmin has a special place in my heart and yours too, Nick. And one of it is, I mean, it's one of those things, I don't know, it sounds kind of dumb to want to say that it's that I started it, or a small group of friends, children's ministry friends, we coined the term Kidmin a lot of years ago.
I was going to say, I have an attachment to it, but not that kind of attachment because I didn't help create the hashtag. I'm just like everybody else. I used it all these years and never really knew who created it until I met you, of course, and knew the backstory and all that. And most people listening have no idea.
I bragged about it all the time. You're like, oh my
Classic.
gosh.
Of course.
Silly.
If people don't know Kenny, trust me, he's told me 37,000 times that he helped create Kidmin. But a lot of people listening have no idea. They're learning for the first time that you and a few others helped create that.
Hey,
which has been used now for years and misused in some ways, like some different versions of it.
If we're going to talk about the origin of Kidmin, we should talk about the correct usage of the word. Now, if you don't know, so it actually is February 3rd, 2009, right?
That sounds right. Let me look at the post.
We'll put it in the notes. I actually wrote a blog post on my old blog, Children's Ministry Online, when it launched, and it was the day after the Super Bowl. And this is when everybody used Twitter. Like, Twitter was big in ministry. Kidmin leaders, student ministry leaders were all using Twitter. And Twitter hashtags had just become popular as an easy way to sort content on the huge world of Twitter. And I remember right after, and it was so much fun watching the Super Bowl, which I'm not a big fan of football. So for me to say that's fun. But I was on TweetDeck, I think, following multiple conversations with other children's ministry leaders, and we're just kind of joking about the game. And the day after, I remember tweeting out, I think I tweeted out to a bunch of people, or maybe to a handful of people, and say, like, should there be a hashtag for children's ministry? And immediately a conversation started, and people were throwing out different ideas like Kidsmen, CM, all sorts of other different ideas. And now here's the thing. Back in the early days of Twitter, you only had 120 characters. And so there's a limitation. Now it's a little bit longer, I think. I don't really use Twitter much anymore, but the usage of letters was sacred. So we wanted a short, and that's a lot of people wanted CM for children's ministry, but CM was almost too generic. Like, a lot of people could adopt that.
You'd have got a lot of stuff. Yeah, that'd be
we would have got all kinds of stuff. Use that. And so we went with Kidmin, because some people today say, why don't you call it Kidsmen? It makes more sense. Kids ministry. Well, the reason was because we're trying to make the hashtag as short as possible. So it was born Kidmin. So because I know a lot of people are like, why is it called? It makes more sense to call it Kidsmen. And
because nobody calls it kid ministry.
Yeah, nobody calls it Kid Ministry.
Nobody calls it that.
And so, but that's the origin. So it took 24 hours. We locked it in, and then at that point, people have written books with the title Kidmin in it. Obviously the hashtag took off.
Facebook groups, a conference started, the Kidmin Conference, Group Publishing launched that and lasted for several years. There's actually even a group that tried to trademark it, and other ministry leaders came together. It wasn't a legal action, but it was but lawyers did get involved to
to make sure the Kidmin was protected. It's a word like you can't trademark like a
Free use or
like
whatever that's called, fair
light bulb,
use.
or whatever
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Kidmin became free, and it was so exciting to see this little thing that a bunch of us kind of geeked around. As people like John in Colorado, John Mullis, John in Colorado, my late friend Matt McKee, Sam Luce, Jonathan Cliff. There's a whole bunch of people that were involved in the coining of that. And the silly thing about all of this, Nick, and you know this too, like, gosh, this was like 15 years ago, but like nobody bought the domain kidmin.com. Nobody
Somebody
secured
did.
the Twitter. No,
None
somebody
of
did.
you all. Somebody
We
did.
didn't.
A friend of ours, somebody we know did.
A friend of ours
You did not. The people that
No.
created it did not buy it, which is kind of funny, especially since our friend Matt McKee was kind of like the king of technology and everything, and
He was.
so should have been all over that.
So we've recently secured kidmin.com, and it kind of feels like it's home. Like we got it, because here's the deal. The thing
And it's
that
not
we're
home
excited,
because it's ours. It's home
No.
because it's going to be all of ours. Everybody
That's
in
right.
kids ministry.
because here's the thing, and not that the person who bought Kidmin wasn't trying to make $1 million off of it or anything like that.
No,
But
nobody does anything in children's ministry is trying to make
but we've always
$1 million
had the heart and the desire, like you and I both. That's why we started Ministry Boost, and it's why we do all the million things that we do. Is we're very passionate about equipping student ministry leaders, kids ministry leaders, family ministry leaders, and specifically around this property. Years ago, gosh, almost 20 years ago, started Children's Ministry Online. In the first 2 years, I wrote 2,000 blog posts. Now, most of them were terrible because I used my blog like Twitter. I'd write little 200-word posts just to communicate with people. But that has always been the heart. Like, how can we share like knowledge that we've gained over the years and help equip others in children's ministry? And it's been so fun because for years I run in people conferences, and people say, "Man, I read your blog like 15 years ago, and it was so helpful." And so the idea behind Kidmin is that it belongs to Kidmin. It belongs to all of us. We are hoping to create a space on the World Wide Web where everything you need to know about children's ministry, about Kidmin, you'll find it at Kidmin. And so with that will be podcast and articles and downloadable resources, YouTube stuff, all the stuff. So we're hoping that it will be an epicenter of all things Kidmin, all things children's ministry. And so with that is the launch of this podcast. One of the first like initiatives is how do we have the conversation? So I think it'd probably be important to talk about like what makes the Kidmin podcast different, what makes it unique. Nick, you've been podcasting for 78 years, for a really long time.
That long. Yeah,
And-
a long time. 9 years. No, 10. This is 10 years, Kenny. This is 10 years in
10 years.
in the
This is
spring.
why I didn't start a podcast earlier. I was like, I can't do something for 10 years. And so for me, I feel like most podcasts out there, I don't know. I'm an Enneagram 7. I'm maybe a little bit ADD. I can't focus for an hour, 2 hours. Like Nick, you talked to me about like you listen to like 3-hour long podcasts about
I do.
football
It's
or
true.
about
Yeah.
whatever it may be. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't pay any attention to anything that long.
Yes,
I
you
don't-
can. You
I-
would sit in a theater if they let you sit in a theater and watch like all 3 Lord of the Rings back to back to back for 11
would.
hours. You would do it. You would do
I
it.
would, but that
Yeah.
just feels different. So
It is different. It
so
is
my
different.
thought was, if I'm going to start a Kidmin podcast, I want it to be short. I want it to be like, I want us to like tackle, it's not about the guest as much. It's more about the content. And we're going to have a conversation about check-in. We're going to have a conversation around church management
Volunteer
software,
huddles.
volunteer
Yeah,
huddles, recruit, like
Planning great
just-
events. Yeah.
so that way, if you like, you're like, man, we're in the hunt for a new curriculum for preschoolers or an event to do during the summer. It will be easy to find conversations on the podcast. It won't be like, oh, is that podcast where so
Or it was mentioned in that one podcast that was an
no.
hour long. Yeah.
We're trying to make it simple. Of like, hey,
Yeah.
our podcast, this one's random because it's our first
This one
one.
breaks the rules. This one
It breaks all the
rule, but-
rules. But the goal is that we just want to make it really easy to find. Hey, I need more information about puppets in kids ministry. No, and so Yeah, so you can just find it, and it's a short, fun conversation. Some of these it might just be me having a conversation about this, but I don't like to do things by myself. I'm too extroverted, and so the idea would be a conversation with somebody else about a topic. Now, sometimes the person on the podcast will be an expert in that topic, but not always. Sometimes it's just another opinionated person like me or like Nick, and we're going to talk about how we can grow.
We'll talk about all the ways we did it wrong. Like maybe we don't know how to do it right, but here's how it hasn't worked. Yeah, and I was thinking as you're saying that, wherever people are listening to this, if they're watching on YouTube, which they should, subscribe to the Kidmin channel and watch these there. But if they're just listening, somehow let us know what topics you want to hear about. Whether you want to email us at hello@kidmin.com or comment on wherever you're listening this. We'd love to know, because we have a bunch of ideas and lots of topics we're thinking of. But what are you thinking of? What do you want to hear about?
Oh yeah, I wanna learn more about how I can get all the volunteers I need, and about how I can get a big raise and be the highest paid person on my staff, and some
hire some more staff to help me out. Yeah, we can hit all the things right here. Have more margin and downtime.
Yeah, that would be the hope of, like, we've already got 100 ideas for episodes that we want to do, but if you have an idea, shoot us an email. What is our email? This is also new. Is it info@kidmin.com?
It's hello@kidmin.com.
Hello. Well, you can also email Kenny at kidmin.com or Nick at kidmin.com or hello at kidmin.com.
Let's say it like that, though, if you email hello. Yeah.
Do you want to, hey, do we want to talk about kidmin.com? Do we want to talk about,
like, and let me bring up the site. So if you are watching on YouTube, which again, you should consider.
If you are listening to this part's going to be really boring because
we'll still tell you what's on there. So, it's still what you can find there, but you're going to go there yourself. You might have already gone there. It might be how you're listening to this episode. We'll see. And it's going to grow from here, certainly, but out the gate, the kidmin.com website primarily is a place to find articles about all the Kidmin content, these topics that we're talking about. We're going to talk about them on the podcast, but you'll find them here as well. And then, a bunch of categories. So if you want to talk volunteers, you can find that. If you want some ideas, you can find that. If you want to dive into small groups for kids or large groups and all of that, there's going to be articles and all that stuff. And it'll just continue growing. And one of my favorite parts about this whole thing, it goes back to this idea that Kidmin is for all of us, is that we've got a variety of voices that'll be contributing here. So like, here's our friend Andre Jones talking about breaking the volunteer cycle in kids ministry, which is great. And so we're going to have, if you would like to contribute, we're going to have a way that you could reach out about that as well, to write articles for kidmin.com. Right now, I think there's over 15, maybe 20 authors already on some of this, which is great. And so that's a lot of fun. You and I
will continue to write articles, and for almost 20 years, I wrote articles at childrensministryonline.com, and a lot of those are just moving over to kidmin.com. A lot of them aren't, because they're garbage, and Nick has already deleted them. I was like,
you said that one. I did. You said
I want that
I
one.
Didn't say it. Well, and we didn't say this, and not that I don't know how many people regularly were visiting childrensministryonline.com, but that is becoming kidmin.com too. So it's not going to exist anymore in its old fashion. That is all now kidmin.com,
and it's going to be better. It's going to be fuller with better resources, more up to date. I mean, I go back and read some of that stuff that I wrote 15 years ago, and I was like, the audacity that I had to say that, or just
I've seen a lot of them in this process, and I think not the audacity. I think, man, Kenny really liked to tell us about what is going on in his life, but that was kind of social media back then, right? Like, if you're old enough, like we are, to have been on Facebook in the early days or whatever, I see sometimes in my Facebook memories, a post pops up like, man, why did I always tell people what I was doing all the time? This is so, narcissistic. But that was kind of social media back then.
Oh yeah, let's talk about this Kidmin Weekly. Yes.
Yeah, jump into it. I mean, I'll say this: it's going to come out on Wednesdays, but you tell them what it is.
Yeah, so we just want. I don't know if you're like this. I subscribe to like 15, 20, 30 different weekly emails. I actually get my news. I find some like news sources that like I agree with more politically or whatever, or tech news, and I get an email in my inbox every morning, and it's like, okay, this is a great way to consume the news. I don't watch TV. I don't watch like live TV, things like that. So I love email subscriptions for the information that I want, and realize that I get tons of Kidmin email, but it's usually information about a product or things like that. And we wanted to create like, hey, what do I need to know that's going on in the world of Kidmin? Better than writing a blog post or even making a podcast, but like, what if we were to push information on a weekly basis of like, hey, here's the things you need to know. Maybe it's a new conference that's coming out. Maybe it's a new curriculum that's coming out. Maybe it's actually about a Kidmin legend or champion that you don't know you need to know about. So we're still in the infancy. We're trying to figure it out, or a cool product that you can find on Amazon that is amazing, and you
That
need
should
to
be in
try
every
it.
that should be in every weekly email, right? Like one great
Oh yeah,
Amazon find or something like that.
we're always looking for good ideas, or like another podcast, or another website, or
Or an
actually
app or
nowadays,
a tool, something like that. Yeah.
yeah, or even like a great voice on Instagram or YouTube that you need to follow. You need to. So it's really more about sharing the love of, hey, here's some things, and we're going to feature some articles on from Kidmin.com in every weekly email. And so, but you can subscribe to this and get this email. It's going to come out every Wednesday. It's going to show up in your inbox. It won't be long, but you can just skim through it and like, hey, what do I need to catch up on in the world of Kidmin? So this is good. This is really helpful.
Yeah, and one way to think of it might be like it'll be everything from kidmin.com that week that you'd want. What are the articles that we're, sharing that week? What is the podcast about? If, the other podcasts. And then also, like you said, what else is out there that you need to know in the world of
Yeah.
Kidmin, resources, tools? We are going to highlight some leaders and stuff like that. Because part of it, should have said this earlier probably, but a huge part of kidmin.com isn't just the content, the resources, and the ideas, but it's the community. It's like bringing people together, helping people get to know each other, be connected, learn from each other. I mean, we've learned from so many thousands, tens of thousands of children's ministry leaders over the years, and we want to help everybody else do that.
And I know that there's a lot of people in the children's ministry world who, like, you didn't go to school to become a kids pastor, and you work at your little church, and outside of maybe a book or maybe that conference you went to 4 years ago, and outside of that, you don't know any, like, you don't know what's the most cutting edge resource that just came out. And that's cool. I mean, that's fine. You got a job to do. So maybe the Kidmin Weekly and Kidmin.com can help you stay up to date on, hey, these are the things I need to know. These are the resources that I need to equip myself with. So hopefully that'll help. That'll be helpful to help equip you with the information you need to know to be better at your job and to make a bigger impact.
And you and I were those children's ministry leaders years ago that would have loved a resource like this, right? To have one place to go to. And then there's the podcast page is just one place you can get to all the podcasts. This one, the Kidmin Podcast that you're listening to, we will link to my family ministry podcast from there as well, because
that's 10 years old. Is a tween. Old. You have a tween. Podcast.
It's in the preteen ministry of podcast. And then coming soon, the Kidmin Show. We'll talk about more of that down the road.
You have been badgering me for years because you have an idea, and I love it. I think it's going to be fun. Yeah. It's one of those things, like, I don't like to overcommit. I like to keep my options open. And what I will say is,
classic Enneagram 7.
When this thing launches, it's going to be wild. Like, it's going to be wild. It is going to be maybe the most fun way you grow as a Kidmin leader. So I'm really excited about the Kidmin Show.
If it works, Kenny, what I think of it like is like when, this week as the podcast comes out, we're going to be at the Children's Pastors Conference, right? And there's going to be so many kids ministry leaders there. We're going to connect with old friends. You're going to meet some new leaders that we've never met before. And you're going to have like conversations, and it's just going to be fun. We're going to laugh about stuff. We're going to share, I don't know, struggles or frustrations in ministry or from our church, or something funny or something great that's worked. And in my mind, the Kidmin Show will be that for all of us, and different voices and different guests, and a lot of fun, and encourage you. So that's
exactly, because there's so many conversations. There's so many conversations that I have at the Orange Conference, Church Conference, CPC, Kids Matter, wherever it is that we are. And it's so life-giving. It's so challenging. But if I don't go there, like if I'm a kids ministry leader and I don't have the money in my budget to go there, it's hard to have that conversation. And so we're hoping to there's so many times I've had a conversation and it's like, oh my gosh, you and me just had the most amazing conversation with this leader. I wish 100 people could have been in this conversation to hear what was said, because it was powerful. I might not ever be the same. My ministry may not ever be the same. So that's the point of the Kidmin Show. It's going to be, along with having lots of fun. in the
Yeah.
process.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And then the free resources tab, we've put together 12 or 13 resources already. This will certainly grow here. So volunteer application kit, handbook kits, interviews. If you want to help improve your onboarding, there's a kit for that. First time family gift ideas, if your church does that or is thinking about doing that. Event best practices. And you can get, if you're like me, is like, yes, I want all of that. You can just click the button to get all of it in one, fill out this form,
Oh yeah.
and get everything in one download. Or if there's just one thing you want, like, you know what, I need to work on my volunteer handbook. Let me click on the volunteer handbook kit and just fill out the form and get that one. You can do that as well. And we'll keep adding to this page. This will certainly be 20, 30 resources in no time and growing.
And they're all free.
Yeah, which is the best kind of resource in children's ministry usually, sometimes.
I mean, Nick, you and I do, we have lots of resources, courses, coaching that costs money because we're trying to save for our kids' college funds and all those sorts of things. But the goal is, as much as possible, we want to create free resources that benefit everybody. Doesn't cost you a dime.
Yeah. Yeah. And many of these resources, what I love about them too, is I would have paid for these, you know what I mean? Because of all the time they would save me. A handbook kit alone, save me 10 hours or something like that. And, if somebody wanted and had a great one, I'd pay $20 or something for it and save 10 hours. That'd feel like,
if you want to send me $20,
yeah, Kenny's going to share his
my Venmo,
his Cash App.
Kenny Conley, send me. I don't actually know what my Venmo is, but.
And then lastly, the store. This is going to grow as well. We don't actually run a store on the site in terms of we don't actually have products that we're shipping to you and all those things. So it's more of a store that it's kind of curated products from other sources. Right now, it's mostly Amazon. So if I click on books, for example, you'll see a lot of books for children's ministry, and many of the people we know have written some of these books. What's really funny, Kenny? It would be quite hilarious is if my own book wasn't on there. But look, there it is.
There it is.
Great? And so think of this more as I want to go to one place where I can find the resources I need for children's ministry, and it's going to expand. Like right now, we've got all those books. We also have check-in supplies and printers and labels and things like that. So it can get real specific like that, and it'll grow too. Now, it's not designed to eventually replace Amazon, but more like if you said, hey, what's out there? Not even just on Amazon. Eventually, certainly there'll be links to other products and great resources that are out there in the world of children's ministry. But what if we could just find it all in one place? That's the goal.
And just disclaimer, I think if you click on one of these things, you buy it, Nick and I get a penny. So there is
well, it's not a penny, but it's some percentage that's really small. 2%? I don't know.
So
3%?
Buy the TVs. Buy the computers.
Buy the TVs so we can get $3 instead of 35
cents.
As
we share these Amazon finds that are going to come out in the Kidmin Weekly, we're going to add them here. So it's always easy to find those things. And because sometimes, when it's Prime Day and you're like, hey, I got some money in my budget, I want to buy some stuff. We hope that the store will be, again, another way to serve you, to make it easy to find great resources that you can buy.
Yeah, and the main thing you want to do is just go to the website and join or sign up for Kidmin Weekly. Either way, that'll get you on the list so that you're getting that weekly email, the Kidmin Weekly on Wednesdays, which will keep you updated on everything. Download all the free resources. If you're like me, hit that all button. Just get them all in one download.
And so let's make it really clear, because somebody's saying well, how do I join? It's probably all the different ways. If you download a resource, you're going to put your email address in there, and we're going to add you to it. Is there a join button on the website, Nick?
There is, and it's all the same. It's a different form, but it's all the same thing because it's free. The idea is that if you want to be a part of Kidmin.com and join it, it's free. So no matter how you get in there, downloading a free resource or signing up for the weekly email, you're going to be a part of it, and you'll have everything that keeps coming out. And
we're just getting started. We have some kind of crazy ideas, some other things.
Merch is coming. We can tease merch.
Well, we do have merch. We have shirts that we're bringing to CPC, and but we have some other ideas too. We've got some creative ideas of
if I turn my head here, there's 16 things on that board. So we definitely, there's only 5 on the site right now, so there's definitely more coming, which we're excited about. Okay, so if you're still listening or watching this podcast, I'm so sorry. This is the length maximum of what we want to do. So we're going to wrap this up here in a little bit. But listen, hey, we're so excited to be invited into your commute, into, I don't know, your jog, while you're doing the dishes or mowing your lawn.
but we're excited about the conversation that we're going to have together. Kids pastors, children's ministry leaders here at the Kidmin Podcast. And so thanks for listening to our inaugural episode. And stay tuned because every week, Wednesday, what day does the podcast come out, Nick?
Tuesdays, except this one's going to come out a little earlier just because it's the first one. So that way it's right there. As soon as you hear about kidmin.com, you can listen to this first episode.
But we'll see you every Tuesday. We're so excited to be with you and journey with you and all this. So welcome to the Kidmin Podcast.